Okay, picture this. A massive wooden ship, just sort of adrift on these endless waves.
Right. Creaking, groaning.
Exactly. And inside, just 8 people. And, well, tons of animals, nothing else. No land anywhere.
Just water, horizon to horizon.
It really makes you wonder, how did they even get there? What happened?
Well, that's what we're diving into today, the incredible story of Noah and the Ark.
Yeah, and we're using that YouTube video as our main guide, The Incredible Story of Noah from the Divine Heroes channel.
That's the one. Our plan is really to unpack this ancient story, look at the key bits, and maybe explore what it signifies.
Okay, so the video kicks off by calling Noah a very special man. What made him stand out, especially considering the world he lived in?
Well, the video paints a pretty stark contrast. His world. It was apparently full of wickedness. People hurting each other, stealing.
Just general chaos and disobedience.
Exactly. A really rough time, according to the source. But Noah was different.
How so? What qualities did it mention?
It highlighted his kindness, his honesty, and, importantly, his obedience. He listened.
And it wasn't just him, right? His family was involved too.
That's key. His wife, Naomi, and their 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, who were married. So 8 people in total on that ark.
8 people against, well, a whole world described as wicked.
Right. And the video suggests this wickedness led God to decide to basically start over.
Start over, but saving Noah and his family.
Precisely. Because Noah was, well, different. Righteous.
Yeah.
God's plan, according to the video, was to save him and use his family to begin again.
And the core of that plan was the ark, this huge boat.
Huge, is putting it mildly. The video gives dimensions as long as a football field.
A football field, wow!
And as tall as a 4-story building? Think about building that back then.
Just monumental. And it wasn't just a big empty box, was it? It had floors.
Yeah, 3 levels, the source says, each with a specific job.
Okay, what were they for?
The bottom floor was apparently for trash and waste. Practical, I guess.
Makes sense with all those animals.
Definitely. The middle floor was where the animals lived.
And the top.
That was for Noah and the family. And it mentions a special window, too, for sunlight. Imagine needing that window after days and days inside.
Oh, absolutely. And how long did this massive construction project take? The video mentioned a time frame, right?
It did. An incredibly long time, 120 years.
120 years, building a giant boat on dry land.
Yeah.
What did people think?
Well, according to the video, Noah kept warning them about a coming flood the whole time he was building.
And
They laughed, called him
Sure.
silly, dismissed it completely. I mean, you can almost picture it, can't you?
Yeah, totally. Building for over a century based on a warning, yet he kept going.
His trust, his faith must have been immense. The video really emphasizes that. He believed, despite all the ridicule.
Okay, so the ark's built. Then comes maybe the trickiest part. The animals.
Another huge logistical challenge. God's instructions were pretty specific here, according to the source.
What were they?
Bring 2 of every kind of animal,
Yeah.
male and female, the idea being to repopulate the earth afterwards.
2 of everything. Okay.
But interestingly, there was a special rule for some animals, those used for sacrifices, like cows, sheep, goats.
Yeah.
He was told to bring 14 of each of those.
14. That's quite a difference. So more the sacrificial animals.
Seems so. And just imagine trying to get all of them on board. Lions, elephants, zebras, giraffes.
Not to mention birds, insects, everything. How did the video explain that part? Did he just round them up?
The video presents it more as a divine thing, like the animals were guided to the ark. It emphasizes the miraculous nature of it all.
Right. So ark built, animals inside. Then the flood itself. The video gives a date.
It does. 1,656 years after creation, on the 17th day of the 2nd month. That's when the rain started.
How did it describe the rain? Just a normal storm?
Not at all. It started as a drizzle, apparently, but quickly became a massive downpour. And just kept going for 40 days and 40 nights, nonstop.
40 days. That's intense. Was it just rain, though, or other water sources, too?
The video mentions both. Rain from the heavens, yes, but also water coming up out of the ground, like springs or fountains bursting open.
Wow. So water from above and below.
Leading to a truly global flood. The water rose so high, the video says, it covered even the tallest mountains.
Unbelievable destruction. But the ark?
The ark floated. Noah, his family, the animals, they were safe inside, riding out the storm. The video portrays it as this vessel of survival.
Safe, maybe, but probably not comfortable. What was life like inside during all this?
Hard work. mainly. The video mentions the constant grind of feeding all those animals, cleaning up after them.
In a confined space for months on end.
Exactly. There's even that little story about a hungry lion swiping at Noah because its meal was late.
Huh. Yeah, a good reminder they weren't just cuddly toys. Real animals with real needs.
For 150 days, the video says they floated. That's almost 5 months.
5 months. Until finally they land. Where did the video say the ark came to rest?
On Mount Ararat. A significant moment, but they didn't just rush out.
Right. Noah needed to check if it was actually safe. How did he do that? The birds, wasn't it?
Yes, the birds. First, he sent out a raven. It just flew around and came back, so still water everywhere, presumably.
Oh, okay.
Then he tried a dove. The first time, same result, it came back, nowhere to land.
Still too wet.
But then, a week later, he sent the dove out again. And this time,
It came back with something, didn't it?
an olive branch, freshly plucked. A clear sign that trees were growing again, the water was going down.
That's the classic symbol, isn't it? The dove with the olive branch.
It really is.
Mm.
So he waited another week, sent the dove out a third time.
And this time,
It didn't come back.
meaning it found somewhere dry to stay.
Exactly. The earth was habitable again. That was the signal.
So finally, they could leave the ark. Must have been an incredible feeling. What's the first thing Noah did?
According to the video, his very first act was to build an altar.
An altar.
Yeah, and offer sacrifices. To thank God for saving them. It's shown as a core part of his character.
Gratitude. And this leads to a really important part of the story, the promise.
Yes, God's covenant. The promise, the video explains, was never again to destroy all life on earth with a flood like that.
Never again. And there was a sign for this promise.
The rainbow, set in the clouds as a permanent reminder of that covenant.
So every rainbow we see connects back to this promise, according to the story.
That's the idea presented, a visual token of mercy.
Okay, so after the flood, it's like a reset, a new beginning. Did the rules change at all?
There were some new guidelines. God blesses Noah and his family, similar to Adam and Eve, tells them to be fruitful, multiply, care for the creatures. But there's a new allowance mentioned, eating meat.
Oh, really? That wasn't allowed before in this narrative.
Apparently not explicitly, but it came with rules. Treat animals kindly, kill them first, no eating live animals, basic respect for life, even when taking it for food.
And weren't there some other laws established, the Noahide laws?
Yes, the video mentions those. Simple, fundamental rules for everyone, not just one group. Things like no stealing, no hurting others, don't worship idols, don't curse God.
Basic morality.
And importantly, setting up courts, judges, a system for justice. Sort of a blueprint for a peaceful society.
But Noah's story doesn't quite end there on that high note, does it? The video mentions his later life.
No, it includes a later episode. Noah plants a vineyard, makes wine.
Okay, Farmer Noah.
Right. But then there's an incident where he gets drunk and is improperly dressed, uncovered in his tent.
Ah, not quite the perfect image anymore.
It adds a layer of human fallibility, doesn't it? Even this incredibly righteous man wasn't perfect.
And his sons reacted differently to this.
They did. The video describes Ham seeing his father and acting disrespectfully, telling his brothers.
And the others, Shem and Japheth.
They reacted with respect. They took a garment, walked backwards so they wouldn't see their father's nakedness, and covered him.
A very different response. Did this have consequences in the story?
Yes. Noah, when he found out, blessed Shem and Japheth, but cursed Ham's descendants, according to the video's telling. It sets up different paths for their lineages.
Complex family stuff, even after surviving the end of the world. The video also mentioned his age, didn't it? He lived a long time.
An incredibly long time. 950 years, the source says.
950?
Yeah. And the narrative wraps up by saying his son's descendants spread out and became the ancestors of different nations. Shem linked to Israel, Ham to Africa and Egypt, Japheth to Europe.
So the story provides an origin framework for the world's peoples within that tradition. Okay, let's pull it all together. What are the big takeaways from this deep dive based on the video?
Well, quite a few. The importance of listening, of faith, even when it seems irrational to others.
Like building the ark for 120 years.
Exactly. Then there's the theme of judgment on wickedness, but also mercy and a new beginning. The idea of covenant, that promise symbolized by the rainbow.
Responsibility towards creation, the animals too.
Definitely. And those basic Noahide laws, a foundation for moral living.
And that final question the video raises is quite powerful, isn't it, about Noah's righteousness?
It really is. Was he righteous just because everyone else was so bad? Sort of righteous by comparison?
Or was it something deeper? An active choice for good, even when surrounded by corruption?
It makes you think about what righteousness really means, doesn't it? Is it just avoiding the worst or actively striving for the best, no matter the circumstances?
A really good question to chew on. So maybe for you listening, think about that. What does it mean to stand for something positive, to be, well, righteous in your own world, whatever challenges that might involve?
Hmm. Lots to consider from this ancient story.
Absolutely. This deep dive using the Divine Heroes video definitely gives us plenty to reflect on. We hope you'll keep exploring these ideas.